to head that reform within that institution. And Berta kind of certainly showed herself to be very capable and to be very independent, as of course she has shown in the past. So that's encouraging, but it is critical that she is given the space to make the changes that are needed. And elections are coming up quick. There's really not much time to prepare the country for it. And positive steps have been taken to open up political space, but there's a long way to go before the space is open and we can begin thinking about sort of free and fair elections. So that's a huge challenge for Berta and for the other bodies that are involved. But simplifying registration procedures for opposition parties is absolutely crucial. The census is absolutely very important and doesn't get a lot of attention. I know there was an announcement the last couple of days that would be completed soon, but that has to be completed in an impartial, independent way. I mean, as your viewers know very well, I mean, you speak to many small ethnic groups in this country to try to understand what some of their concerns are. The census always comes up. Some of those are probably accurate perceptions, some of them maybe not, but the perception is always that there's challenges. So this census is critical. Civil society space needs to be opened up. Again, steps have been taken. The CSO law is in the process of being passed. It's within a couple of weeks from what we understand. The drafts that we've seen with a couple concerns are really positive, but it's going to take time, right? The law will be passed and the agency needs to be set up and operational. In the meantime, civil society can't get registered. It can't get registered under the old law, and the new law is not yet ready. So that means we do not have new civil society groups springing up ahead of the election. So there's all of these things that need to be done to prepare for the election, and not a lot of time. So it is a big concern.
And as a 2020 election, Ethiopian national election is going to be taken just after 1.5 years. Do you have any fear of human rights violation like that of before?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, you ask lots of experts, what do you think will happen in the election? Nobody knows. It's really uncharted territory. There's so many different things that can happen. There doesn't seem to be a political appetite to postpone the election. And it's not something Human Rights Watch would ever take a position on one way or the other. But will the country be ready for elections in May 2020? Will there be the opening of political space that is needed? I'm not so sure. The time is running out, and as I said, there's positive progress is being made, but there's a lot more that needs to be made before the election happens. I think opposition parties are many of them are back now in the country, but there's lots of questions about their capacity, their platform. Are they where are they running? Are they running? Etc. So that there's a lot of questions. Of course, there are local elections as well, which no one ever wants to talk about. But local elections in this case could be quite critical, given that at a local level there really isn't much governance. In some cases, the people that were there are not there anymore. In other cases, they are there, but they're just not doing anything. Right? They're not getting the direction from above. That was such a hallmark of the previous era, where the sort of party ideology from the top to the bottom just was really consistent. Now, what we're hearing from those local officials, they're not getting much direction. So I think local elections will give a sense of legitimacy to people that are in there, whether the current ones or the new ones. So there's lots of questions around the election, and it's good that people are finally asking questions around that.
What do you think should be done to realize the starter reform in Ethiopia for its sustainability, and who should do what?
I mean, that's a big question. We could talk for hours about that. There's so much that needs to be done. I mean, I think steps have been taken in all of the broad areas. It's just we have this sort of time crunch of the elections. But I think the biggest thing that we see right now is just the reestablishment of law and order. I mean, so many parts of the country have very little in the way of a government security force of any type. Who are carrying out basic policing functions, and it's really worrying. So in absence of that, we have citizens who are arming themselves. Arms are flooding in from Sudan and elsewhere. So this is a real concern that could just get out of control. Already, we have more than 2 million IDPs in this country, and that's a significant problem. That it's obviously on Dr. Abiy's agenda, But I think it's something that needs to be paid more attention to. And you kind of overlay that on the other issues, like what's happening in the South in SNNPR, first with the Sadama, trying to have a referendum to break away from SNNPR, and then various other groups also doing the same thing. And we're not saying this is good or bad, but it's the type of thing where, in the context of instability, lack of local governance, lack of security, flooding of small guns into the country, it could be a really explosive situation. We hope that Dr. Abiy and other influential voices can kind of calm tensions and take the important but difficult steps to reestablish law and order, so that as we move towards the election, we can do so in a peaceful manner.
As one of senior research. There he is.